So when it comes to invest, we're talking about investing, finance, and professional development for today's items only. The investment top today would be 30k Teach. First, I want to say happy Friday, everybody. Hope a great week so far. We're almost to the weekend. Respect to recording time of 8:54 a.m. on the Eastern Time. Ethereum coin trading $3,598, up about 0.64% so far. With respect to the overall market, including the equity market, it seems like it's kind of treading water at the moment. With the anticipated pressure that we've had earlier today, and specifically the timing, it's 8:30 a.m. on the Eastern Time, as the job numbers comes out. And right now it's 8:55, and I quickly looked at the report just to skim through like the high level metrics we need to be cautious about. I would say the job numbers are definitely leaning more toward the negative side of the spectrum than we would like, or in terms of my appetites. And basically, the most important headline would be the 194,000 jobs. But with respect to specific metrics, as you dive into it, the numbers is not that good. But the hours of the average employees in America, the hours went up a lot, quite significantly. And nominal wages went up, quite significantly as well. While at the same time, the private contractors, that do not, have health benefits, nor like, Roth IRA or 401k, if you may, they are, it's up about $317,000. Seems like the gig economy, is having some affectations, ever since the COVID. Obviously, affectation that we have across globally, but domestically, it seems like people are resorting more towards the contractual jobs rather than full-time employment, if you may, right? And with respect to unemployment, it went down a lot, so that's a good sign. While at the same time, in the specific underrepresented community like African American, Latino, community, down even more. Also, with respect to the revision from the last month, on the job number, it seems like it has also positive revision. So it seems like it's kind of a mixed signal. And on top of that, just like diving into it, 194,000 jobs is not like a terrible number. It's not like we completely missed the mark. It's just a weird report, right? Not only just like the unemployment rate dropped to 4.8%, but losing 18,000 jobs in healthcare, education jobs is flat in September, etc., etc. I guess like people in these specific job arena, it might be like a seasonal adjustment, I assume. But I'm not sure. I'm not in those respective jobs. So I don't know like the bonus timing, or I think that has to do with it, with that weird drop, if you may, right? So seems like it's more of a neutral one, but leaning more towards the negative side, but some improvement around like the unemployment with the adjustments with contractual employment at the same time, right? So let's take a look at the news front, coming out from Cointelegraph 2 hours ago. Talk about blockchain for NFT market, but Ethereum still dominates. So this is basically talking about more NFT commercialization, how hot has been so far. Where do we see this trends going? How are they demanding such high prices for these art pieces cultivated from NFT, right, based off Ethereum? So interesting to know. Just more regurgitation news, I guess. And the next one, talk about Fortune magazine 3 hours ago with respect to stock and crypto rallies on pause ahead of today's momentum job report, which is something we've already talked about, right? The next one is on Cointelegraph 9 hours ago. The amount of Ethereum held by miners reached highest level since 2016. So this is talking about with respect to the cultivations that we've among, globally, China. It's currently suspending the 10,000 crypto mines, but there are still other mines out there globally across various different countries that are still cultivating, Ethereum on a daily basis. And with that affectation could subsequently drive some imbalance in the ecosystem, right? Obviously, it's detrimental that we are seeing 10,000 mines shut down right now. but they're just holding right now. There isn't really anything that we're burning more than we're creating. So that should technically, sustain, our current price level without major volatility. But ultimately, we're at the mercies of the big whales, the corporate institutions that have the largest market power. So something we can only take a look within the technical analysis, rather, and with the burn rates and the cultivation rates that they have, that we have to triangulate, that would translate into the technical as well, which we can dive into a little bit. And then the next one is talk about on Fortune magazine, which is pretty big. Soros asset management, which is one of the largest and most reputable hedge funds, asset management, if you may, they endorse Bitcoin. So George Soros, one of the legendary hedge fund managers, he has announced on Fortune magazine 14 hours ago that Soros is currently holding Bitcoin. So with that, that's a great stamp of approval, right? Which is something we appreciate. So that's really about. It's more just like a name drop, if you may. The next one is talking about, yeah. So as you know, today is Friday. So the news is basically on Cointelegraph about 14 hours ago. Talk about the $250 million that's in the bearish side of the option bet is expiring today, right? So if the contract executes and they do not reach the price levels that these option buyers or investors have executed in, that means that 250 million is basically down the drain. So we'll see. If that's the case, we'll probably see some volatility. But people are not that stupid, right? They will probably adjust their contracts to push it out even further. Obviously, the potential profit or return by doing so will subsequently be mitigated from there. But I don't think 250 will be all completely executed and it will just be washed down the drain today. But something good to know that there is some volatility that could potentially be in play today, despite the job report that we're already seeing, right? So let's go to technical straight up. So with respect to Ethereum, we are still levitating, trying to get to the 3845, which is the next level. You could see that we opened below at the 3575 because of the fact that we were anticipating the job report, and it came out kind of neutral / negative, if you may. It's more like a, I would say moderately negative, if you may. So right now we just try to hover on a sideways fashion. We are 61 out of 70, so still overbought. There is no signs of curvature yet, so we potentially could leap up to 3845 if this weekend we hear more positive news and etc. If the option expiry is in our favor, that causes like a short squeeze and pump us up even further. That's very possible, and we'll see how sustainable that is. But I think that should be relatively sharp because of the fact that we are close to 70 already. So by then you have no choice but to lose oxygens and lose steam because your rocket is running on nothing, and then you have to fall back down. So that's something we have to be cautious of. Again, the 3,150, 2,750, 2,450 are still the level to ideally dollar cost average. So Bitcoin, you got the endorsement from Soros, and also with the positive news and the drop numbers, we're extremely overbought right now with the 71 out of 70, so we're even above the scale. And on top of the fact that MACD is very stretched up, and this is very, very abnormal. I do not like this at all. This is relatively dangerous because of how abnormal the chart is forming right now. This is more severe than some of the ones we've seen in the past, like comparable to this one right here. So as we hit the apex, right, you can see how extremely sharp we're going to be selling off, and I think this is very comparable to this. And definitely be cautious. Do not chase the pump. I don't think this is the logical move right now. Again, the levels I identify here, right? So Dogecoin, 20 cents was the dip, right? And I think right now we're at the 56 out of 70. The next ideal level to go up to would be very high, would be the 30 cents, which you have 6 cents to go up to. Or you either go down to the 21, right? And I think that likelihood of actually go down would be more likely to go up because we are relatively overbought right now. So again, Dogecoin is okay. We're just kind of hovering right now because of the consolidation that we have. But if we break that, we have a long way to go back to 21, which is basically 3 cents away, right? That's not a small amount if you buy like, by percentage perspective, right? Cardano, we are normalized. Again, the lag effects is definitely there, right? We have 50 out of 70 in comparison to like the 60s that we have above us. So we just formed a golden cross. So I think we do have a technical leap up to the $2.45 intermittently, which we did try to get there. But I think, with respect to the level that we at right now, I think going to that level again wouldn't be surprising to me. Solana is it's a very weird one. It's very fused together, and I think we are trying to cross, but not really yet. We crossed downward once, and then we try to cross upward again. And I think we're struggling at the moment. It's either we go up to again the 177 and then the all-time high 195 or 200, and then quickly sell back down. And I think that could be possible because we still have like some room to run up to like 15 on a scale of 70 to run up to be 57 out of 23 right now. But ideally, to be more risk averse, would be the 127, the 112, and then the 96, right? XRP, we are struggling still. Try to get to the 110. We're basically bouncing up and down, and I think the better level would be buying at the $1 again, right? The 93 and the 88, and continue to oscillate on a sideways fashion to see what's the confirmation. But right now the setup is still, it's like neutral. It's not like overbought, not oversold. So I'll wait probably until the 101. Hope that it doesn't fall back, but you do have a gap that needs to be filled. So I think 93, 88 would be more ideal. Polkadot, you saw that flash crash that happened yesterday. Very strange. So Polkadot, you probably want to stay away. Right now, it's not the ideal level to buy yet either. It's 56 out of 70, and at the same time, we are forming a curvature already. So it seems like sell-off is coming for Polkadot, knowing the fact that we do have a head and shoulder that's formed already. So with respect to the market cycle, I know it's very confusing and it's not the most obvious either. But I think anger or like early stage of depression is where we at right now. And I think we need to have this at this time for us to continue to rally until next year, right? And ideally, if you want to get to like $10,000 by next year this time, you need to go through this like depression mode, I guess, right? Until you could come back to recycle to hope, optimism, and belief, and hopefully euphoria again, right? In respect to the frames of reference, 3,150, 2007, 2,450 for Ethereum specifically. But if you bought at 4,000, just hold for a long term. You have much higher levels to go up to in the future, right? So really appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the Friday and great rest of the weekend as well. You probably see me again later today. I do have a relatively busy day today. My phone's blowing up already for no reason. It's only like 9. It's probably like a spam call, so let me just like shut it off. Sorry. But yeah, let me know if you have any specific questions, or feel free to give me a shout if you have any questions, and stay tuned for this to come up. Take care. Bye.